I saw the market was going down. I was watching the financial channel. So what I did was I sold my position. I'm like, you sold your position? And they're like, yeah, I just took what I had off the table. And I'm like, so you sold the position, and now your $20,000 initial investment that you gave me, it was $13,500. And they're like, yeah, it's better to get something than nothing. Well, because of the fact that we are not in this stock game, and that's why it's so important that you have a financial advisor to hold your hand. We buy when it's high. Understand me when I say this. We buy when the stock is high, and we sell it when it's today. They were talking about Amazon, and a lot of people think that Amazon is overvalued. Some people think that it is undervalued, but Amazon is almost $1,000 per share stock. Okay, Apple computers, Apple stock, everybody has either a iPhone, an iPad, a mini, a notebook, or something. Once again, an Apple stock. Then you look at your Starbucks, like you mentioned, your Southwest Airlines. You know, so it just really depends on, number one, what is it that you do all the time? And then you look to see the surroundings of the people that are in your circle where you're doing that. You go to Whole Food. You might say Whole Food is a grocery chain that I want to invest in. I see a lot of people in here all the time. I go to Southwest, I travel on Southwest Airlines. I see a whole lot of people at the Southwest Airline terminal. So things of that nature, just be very cautious of your surroundings. And from that point then, that's when I recommend to people to start doing their Google search to see what is going on. How does that position do very well in the stock market? What is it? What is its 52-week high? What is its 52-week low? What kind of earnings per share has it done? And from that point, you might say, this is something that I want to get involved in. A lot of people don't realize that there's two classes of a stock. There's a common stock and it's a preferred stock. The preferred stock is the stock that in turn pays a dividend, whether that be monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, or annually. The common stock does not pay a dividend, but as the stock goes up, the person is able to generate income or a reward if they're coming out of that position. So the question becomes, number one, why are you investing in the stock position? And number two, what are you looking to gain? And from that will be the biggest determinant to help determine what will be the next step for you to go regarding your
A more
stock.
established company, but somebody who's just getting off the ground with the hopes that, you know, they'll pay out big dividends in the end. What's your expertise or guidance in that area?
Again, that is one of those 50-50 chances. You don't really know. In my 20 plus years of doing this, I've only had 3 startup companies to do very well for my client. I had one of my clients to call me and she says, Delta, they're offering me an IPO, initial public offering, with my firm. Do you think that I should buy it? I said, how much are the shares? She said, $5. I said, do you have any money in the bank? She says, yes. I said, how much? She said, about $25,000. I said, okay, spend $15,000. She was like, oh no, Delta, I'm not gonna do that. I said, okay, what do you feel comfortable with? She said, $5,000. I said, okay. So she invested her $5,000. This was back in 1999. I want you to know, and this was the second time, because the first time the stock position went up, she said, no, I'm going to hold it. So when she held it, because it went all the way up, it went from $5 per share all the way up to $35.
It was starting to make some money.
From $5 to $35,
That's a lot.
it made a lot of money.
That's a lot, yeah.
Okay. Then she decided she wanted to babysit the stock. My conversation with all my clients, we don't fall in love with stocks. We get in and we get out.
Don't fall in love.
So since she wanted to babysit the stock went from the $35 per share all the way down to 19.
Oh.
And then it went to 17. And then it went to 14.
Uh-oh.
And I said, okay, I'm a babysit the stock for you. The next time it gets to $35, we're selling it. I called her on the phone, 2013, December, right around Christmas. Merry Christmas. We're selling that stock. It is at $38 per share. She said, are you sure? Really? End result.
Don't go through this again.
She sold it. She invested $5,000. She walked away with $176,000.
Wow.
So again, it's just
$5,000. Well, like you said, it's the 50-50 risk.
it's a 50-50 risk. So I just tell people all the time, if you feel comfortable about it, because I don't know your firm like you know your firm. It has great potential. It's in the IT arena, but you know more than I do because you're hands-on. You're in the trenches. I just know what the researchers have written about that particular entity that we're talking about. And so on the other two entities that I mentioned, they didn't pan out so well. The only thing was they did make a little bit of money. They invested like maybe $2,500, and so when it went to zero, and then it came back. And when it came back, it was like teetering. It went up and then it went down, and then they were talking about this is really not going to work. The person that we thought was going to buy us is not going to buy us. And so I was able to pull both of them out roughly right around $10,000. So they made, a little under $7,500, but they did not make out as well as the other lady. But they did make something compared to what they invested.
Now, how diligent does one have to be when they're watching the stock market? Because for somebody who's a novice, coming in, all the colors and numbers can really throw people off, but you gotta, I remember a gentleman I used to work with, he would spend at least an hour a day at the beginning of work just kind of watching and monitoring and taking notes about the stock market for that day, what was dropping, what was going up. Explain the diligence to the listening audience that requires.
First and foremost, it depends if you want to have an advisor do it or you're going to do it yourself. If you're going to do it yourself, it's work. It's work all the time. As a matter of fact, it's almost like you're doing your day job because you can see something and you can see the market coming down and you're like, okay, I'm getting ready to sell. And right when you have your sale ticket in, the market switches and it goes back up and you're in a profit and you're trying to pull your ticket. So if you don't really know buying, selling, and what's going on and what's the backroom discussion, you can lose out on some instances. And that's why I always say you need to get yourself a financial advisor, someone that sits on the same side of the table with you, so they understand your concerns, they understand your interests, and they're going to elaborate with you on different topics regarding the stock market. But if something is going awry and they find that they need to get in contact with you immediately, you know something is going on when they start blowing up your phone.
You can't do it alone.
Cannot do it alone.
Get a financial advisor.
Get a financial advisor.
And you just happen to be a financial advisor.
And I just happen to be just right here in Northwest Indiana, Schererville, Indiana. Delta Jones Walker at Atlas Financial. I'm here to help you. I serve the client base.
The great thing about you, Delta, is you have a large variety of different clients. Those who own major businesses, those who just own a home, and they're just looking to do better in their finances. Explain a little bit your different kind of clientele you see, and that you're open to everybody, right?
Well, yes, I am. I'm open to everyone. I have individual clients. I have husband and wife clients. I have professional clients. I have business owners. So it really depends on the circumstance that you are trying to address, that I, in turn, come in and take care of the issue at hand. So you might have some individuals that are single women and they say, I just want to make sure that my retirement is intact. I might have some single moms that say, I want to make sure that my child has a very good college education. I might have a husband and wife, and the husband says, I want to make sure if something were to happen to me first, that my household is not disrupted financially because I want to make sure our house is in order. So, you know, it just really depends on the situation. You can have a husband and wife who never had any children, but they want to leave a legacy behind. They want to leave money to their church. They want to leave money to their university that they attended. They
To the
want to
local
leave.
radio show in the studio with Dia.
Yes, local radio show in the studio with D. So it just really depends.
Question, and I'll make this the last question, but with everything happening in this current administration and government and litigation, what's one major financial tip you can give people as it relates to their money? What's something really smart that they can do right now?
Get your house in order and sit down and look at your budget. Look at what's coming in, and before you spend a dime, you write it down on a sheet of paper so you know exactly what you're spending. When you become very mindful of the dollars that you are bringing in and what you're spending out, what's going out, you become overly cautious on the extra dollars that you spend, because now you're like, okay, I'm not going to spend that because I have not listed it, and I really don't need to spend it anyway because of the fact that's just being wasteful. That's not my treat that I'm going to give myself for the weekend. I can wait opposed to spending this money on Tuesday.
I can attest to that. I went out of town for 3 days this weekend. I
Okay.
drove down, and I had a budget for what I was taking with me. So I had a notebook, and I wrote down dollar by dollar what I was going to use, how much I would have left over, and I came back there with like a lot left over because I didn't overspend.
Yes.
I referred to my sheet of paper every time I meant to swipe a card, spend some cash, so that budget is necessary.
I'm telling you, budget is so important, and I've had some people to tell me, Delta, my life has changed because of you speaking of this budget, and every time they saw me, it was just like, okay, where's your budget worksheet? Okay, did you swipe your debit card today? No, Delta, I now have cash. Well, 4 weeks ago when we met, they were like, no, every time we do something, we're just swiping the card. No, just get cash out the bank, and that's what you live by all week long. If you fill your car up on Saturday and you're just going back and forth to work, you don't necessarily have to gas up 2 and 3 additional times, maybe once on Thursday, but be very mindful of your swipes. And not only your swipes, but just what you're spending on, because you know you got your card that's easily accessible to you. You start swiping when you haven't taken care of all your monthly obligations. And now you're trying to figure out, how do I make do, or how do I find money to take care of that obligation?
Hashtag be mindful of your swipes. We're going to start that on social media. I like that. Those swipes can get you.
They
You
can.
know, you think you just spent $5, you look up, it's $500 you spent
Right.
swiping a card. Delta, if people want to reach out to you, they need help, they need financial guidance, they need somebody to advise them, where can they call? What's the number they can call?
They can call Delta Jones Walker at Atlet Financial, and our contact number is 219-513-3710. Again, that number is 219-513-3710, and they can follow us on Facebook as well as on Twitter as well as on LinkedIn.
Delta, as always, thank you so much. Delta will be back the third Thursday. The third, because we got switched up.
Yes.
And congratulations to your
Thank
baby.
you. Thank you. Yes, my son is a distinguished honor
Awesome.
at Mount Carmel
Awesome.
in Chicago, Illinois.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I love to see that. And Delta couldn't come. Was that Monday? Thursday. Her baby was graduating.
No, he's not graduating. He's a sophomore.
Okay, he had a ceremony.
Yes, he had a
Right.
ceremony,
So-
an honor ceremony.
Delta had to do her baby. So I know he gave you a good Mother's Day gift.
Yes,
That
he
was
sure
it. That
did.
was enough right there.
That's all I needed.
We need no flowers.
Nope.
So Delta will be back with us next month. If you guys have any questions, you can email those to inthestudio@gmail.com, inthestudio@gmail.com. Delta, as always, thank you so much for the practical ways you help people not just save money, but do right with their money.
Well, thank you
Invest.
very much for having me.
But yeah, everything's very simple with Delta. I love it. It's not rocket science.
No,
Just
it
call
isn't.
Delta.
Yeah, just call me.
Can't hurt.
Yeah.
She'll do it for you.
513-3710.
88.7 FM WGBE. You are in the studio. We got more music coming up. And up next at 6 o'clock, we got Kim Patrick Berry coming up in the studio, letting us know about some different programs he's got going on in the city. You all stay tuned. 88.7 FM WGBE. We'll be